Hey there everybody, just about to crack on with making some parkland. And the way I'm going about this is I've marked up this bit. This is a single A2 sheet of palette. I'm just going to cut out these areas sort of down here and then up here. The reason I'm going to do a hexagon, and it's going to be a hexagon which relates to these lines. I've put two hexagons in the middle. I'm not actually cutting it out that shape. That was because I toyed with the idea of running the path through these angles, so it would have been long corner to long corner, but I just decided against it in the end for reasons of how it divided the space up and what it allowed me to fit in. So I can fit equivalent of three CDs in here, and because my trees are based on CDs, that means I can put 3 trees on either side. And also this just creates an interesting piece of divider for the board, which is a bit different from just buildings. So I'm going to get this cut out and then I will show you the shape that I end up with. So here it is all cut out. So this will essentially form all of the pavements, sidewalks if you're American, for the park. And what I'll do is in this area here and this area here, I'll actually put some, I'll use some heavyweight paper and I'll back it. Then I will flock that area, and I mean you could use lightweight card. I'm just going to use very heavy paper, which is virtually card anyway, sort of 340 grams per square meter. Certainly no lighter than 120 grams per square meter. And it's just so that where there's going to be grass, these pavements are still raised, because that will add to the effect. Also, just so you can get a sense of scale, I don't know if anybody knows the size of a CD anymore, but that's a CD. Just to make a point, I can fit one there, one here, one sort of here. So I've got like enough room in each area to fit several objects or several buildings, or just what have you really. I think also this might be my solution for how to go about doing blocks and pavements in general, because I'm quite happy with buildings being freestanding, and it'd be kind of cool just to have this kind of thing. So you have an area like this and you place buildings and you can reorientate buildings, and it'll build streets and such for you. The only problem is that then you have issues of the road markings, how the road markings work, but I'm sure I'll work a solution on that. Yeah, so there you go. Next, just so you can see, I've started marking up the lines. These lines, and I'm going to carry on, I need to do all of the paving stones, mark all of that up. And then I will etch all of these. I'll probably do these long lines first, etch them, then mark up all of the short lines and then etch them just by hand without using a straight edge. And the lines I've put on the moment, getting a bit closer, these lines will be for the coping on the pavement, which is the stones that go along the edge of the pavement where it sits against the road or the open grass areas in this case. So yeah, I'll crack on and I will get this etched up, and then you can see what it's like etched up. And I'll also get the backing on, so by the time you next see it, it should be etched and backed. So I'll catch you in a mo for you, but I don't know, quite a few hours for me I suspect. So here's the base for the parkland all backed up. Next stage will be painting and flocking. It's going to have to be another video now because I've been curtailed from painting due to the weather, and it's been very wet here for about a few days now. When it was snowing it was fine because it was ice, I could just go out and paint, but this spray painting, so I need to be able to get out and do that. Just a quick note though, when you're doing this and you're backing something like this, I'm just using PVA to back it with, this is a A1 paper. I think the paper was about 120 grams per square meter. So if you don't know, paper's measured in grams per square meter. So if you see like a pad of paper, it'll normally say like 80 GSM, and that's the weight of the paper per square meter. And I think really you want about 200 to 300. I mean, I think it's normally 220, 340 that you get it in, but 340 grams per square meter paper will be thin enough to kind of disappear and heavy enough to back something. If not, just use really thin card. That's widely available, but you can't really pick it up in the large sort of A1 sheets. And if you buy something like mount board, that's far too thick for the purposes of this. So I've actually folded in half and glued together a sheet, and that's what I've backed this with. Also, when backing it, I've put glue around these edges so that the equivalent of this is backed with glue, and then all of the edges, but only underneath where the heavy paper is going to be going. And I've just PVA'd it, attached it. But when you PVA and attach it, either get a large board, or if you have them sculling around like I do, get big old sketch pads. I mean, this is graph paper, isn't it? Oh, graph pad here. Graph paper. Graph paper is good for technical drawing if you don't know. Didn't even realise I had a big sheet of that. And then once you put these, this is also another use for your Infinity rule books, core books, etc. Because you can then use them to weigh this down. And the reason you're doing this is just to spread pressure evenly over the surface, because what you want is conformity of pressure so that everything is glued evenly and as strongly as possible, which means you want a pressure bond so that the porous surface is pressed against the non-porous surface of the palette. So there you have it. That is the foundation for the Parkland. If you want to see more, check out the City of Dreams video, and I hope this has been of some use to you. Enjoy your modelling, have a good one, and take care everybody. Bye bye.